come with us as we go viral. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks got the win 37-30 last night over the Vikings. Though they didn't win comfortably, they did show up in comfort with Seahawks receiver Tyler Lockett and David Moore arriving in matching Canadian onesie pajamas.
Look at that.
Which,
Coach, would you wear that? I can see Coach in that.
Yeah, I have that part of my routine at home.
Yeah.
There it is.
Look at that. A svelte Coach Mangini.
Was that
My God.
haircut from a different
Canadian
time?
gear, huh?
That's awesome.
That is a slimming outfit.
You know, I've been working at it.
My family,
Coach, you actually look tremendous in that outfit, I gotta tell you.
me, my wife, and daughters all wear matching pajamas on Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's a great
Can we get some pictures?
What?
Let's get some pictures this year.
No, because they already mocked me with these Photoshops. You guys all look great. I'm wearing, you got my
You
head
don't
all
look bad there. I mean,
it's not the greatest.
it looks Photoshopped. The other ones look real.
I was confused as to why they went with the maple leaf.
You see the hands up?
Yeah.
Champion.
Oh
Champion
yeah,
of the world.
Yeah, that's Brandon Marshall right as he goes into the ring to fight Deontay Wilder, and he comes out of the ring on a stretcher.
Coach, you believe in me, right?
Not in that situation. I wanted to come out and talk to you.
Let's get back to the Patriots now. They sit at 10-2, which is incredible for any team not named the Patriots. On Sunday night, their anemic offense caught up with them as they fell to a hungrier Houston Texans team. During that game, Brady was seen at one point yelling at his teammates, trying to get him going, to the surprise of literally no one. Brady was asked about it yesterday.
We're not 2-10. We're 10-2. And I know there's very high expectations, as there are for us. And, you know, I think there's just the expectations for our team often are, you know, a very, very, very high level. And I understand that. But at the same time, I think there's realistic expectations with our circumstances and incorporating different elements and players and injuries. And, again, we're just trying to do the best that we can do.
Nick, what's your reaction to what Brady had to say there about expectations for this team?
So he talks about expectations and circumstances. As far as expectations go, 10-2 is obviously an extraordinary record, but all 10-2s are not created equal. The Niners and the Patriots were both 8-0. And so 8-0 to 10-2 means last month you've been 2-2, as opposed to a team like Seattle that suffered an early loss week 3 at New Orleans and since then has reeled off 8 of 9, or home against New Orleans, I should say. And so there is that element of it. But the other element is circumstances. And the circumstances the Patriots have, and Brady, people get mad at me for saying it. Brady is saying it every single week if people will just listen to him. Brady's not throwing his teammates under the bus because he knows part of their circumstances, and because he never would, but part of their circumstances are him. They have a 42-year-old quarterback who had the greatest game any 42-year-old quarterback has arguably ever had on Monday night, or when did they play? Sunday after night, and it didn't play well. Because it is, up to this point in NFL history, it is impossible to play well above league average at his age at that position. No one has ever done it, and that no one now includes Tom Brady, where this year in every category, he's well below league average. 2017, league MVP. 2018, good but not great defense, carried him in the Super Bowl. 2019, a below-average NFL quarterback. And so, Coach, if they don't get their defense back to the level it was the first couple months of the season, and maybe that was more a product of the schedule than the actual overwhelming dominance of the defense, then they are a team in trouble because their offense is not going to be dynamic with their weapons and with their quarterback.
So what Tom is saying in that interview is there's such high expectations for New England every year, and there's such high expectations for them offensively every year. And there's also this understanding or expectation that no matter what happens, situationally, they'll be able to overcome it. Now, with every other team in the league, someone gets a hangnail, and we got to go out and trade for a first-rounder and somehow help that offense. Tom's situation is dramatically different. Okay, Gronk moves on from last year, or moves on last year. Mike Devlin, or
fullback James Devlin.
James Devlin gets hurt. Key component of their offense. They're on their fourth left tackle, and now Isaiah Wynn is back in, but he's still a young guy learning about it. They're now on their third center.
But that's new. They were on their second.
Okay, there's been a consistent rotation of wide receivers. The offensive line problems are real, and I know you want to come out and say, well, he's the best 42-year-old that's ever played, and I get that, and it's a little bit condescending, but his comments on expectations versus the reality of what they're dealing with, to me, that's honest. And they are dealing with situations that other teams would fold, and he's done an amazing job.
Coach, in training camp, we go through a lot of housekeeping stuff, right? It's not all about football, right? Like, we have to have certain type of meetings, and we have to check this off, go through the league memo. One of the worst meetings that we have to do, there's a few, but one of them is, like, we have to go through PR training, right? Like, teams are mandated to actually talk about how do you conduct yourself in front of the camera. And they give us these lessons. One of the lessons they always say is, like, listen, you don't always have to answer the question, right? And understand you're not talking to the reporter, you're actually talking to the million viewers behind that camera, right? So make sure you control your message. So when I see a savvy veteran and when they speak, I'm always looking at what else are they saying, right? So when Tom, not only this, there are realistic expectations for our circumstances. Let's go through the last couple weeks, everything he's been saying. He's been saying a lot. But what is he really saying? What he's saying is, Bill, guys, Mr. Kraft, this is probably it for me, all right? I've been holding this team up for how many years now? I've had some great players around me, great coaches, but at the end of the day, I am the GOAT. I am the greatest player to ever play in the NFL. I have been controlling this, and I have been leading the way. Now I need help, because I am 42, but it has nothing to do with physical. It's just like, man, I'm ready for someone to actually make a play. I throw the ball up to my rookie receiver, back shoulder. He doesn't even turn his head around. He doesn't even get his head around in time. You got a tight end running down the seam. He passes the linebacker right away. You're supposed to turn around. He runs another 4 yards. Tom Brady throws the ball, and everybody's saying it's a bad throw by Tom Brady. That's just circumstances. That is what he's saying. Okay?
What's the receiver supposed to do there?
But hold on a second.
6
You
feet?
got all that from what he said in that radio interview?
That's it.
In terms of media training in New England, first of all, it happens every single day. It's not confined to just training camp. But what he's talking about in terms of expectations versus reality is he wants the offense to perform at a very high level. That's the expectation from him, from Josh McDaniels, from all the veterans that have been there. But the reality is N'Keal Harry's in, his third game. Mohamed Sanu, he's been there, 4 or 5 games. There's been transition on the offensive line. You've got a lot of moving parts. So even though that's the expectation and that's what he wants and that's why he's frustrated, the reality is he's got to let these guys continue to develop in the system, and they will get better and things will continue to improve.
Okay, all right. Listen, if the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl, they are going to have to beat 2 of the following teams: the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. Maybe Buffalo, but I think it's more likely Buffalo, assuming the Patriots keep a bye, which they almost assuredly will, gets knocked out before them. We know the level Deshaun Watson's playing at. We know the level Lamar Jackson's playing at. We know the level Patrick Mahomes is playing at. And circumstances or not, we know the level the Patriots' passing offense is. The biggest concerning point from Sunday night's game was their defense, because that is the only path they have to a Super Bowl. We've seen it happen with another Mount Rushmore quarterback. His name was Peyton Manning. It was 2015. Now, Peyton that year was done.
15 yards.
Go ahead.
He had neck surgery and his back fused together.
Right, and coach, despite and post neck surgery and post back fusion, 2 years prior he won the league MVP. And the year prior, he was very good, but tailed off at the end of the year. Who does that remind me of? Well, 2 years ago, Tom Brady won league MVP.
No, you can't.
And last year, he tailed off at the end of the year.
Nick, Peyton couldn't throw 15 yards.
No, Peyton at the end was, and I said it, and I'll say it again, Peyton, the final year in Denver, was he was arguably the worst quarterback in the NFL statistically.
Yes.
Brady is not that. I am not arguing that. My point is, it was an all-time great whose only path to the Super Bowl was defense is going to have to be excellent, and I just can't screw it up. Brady is better than Peyton was then. I'm not arguing otherwise. I think Peyton was 9 touchdowns, 17 picks. He was in rough shape. But Brady's only path is to be carried by the defense at this point. It is not sacrilegious. It is listening to Tom say our strength is our defense and special teams. And you can say other teams that you get a guy gets a hangnail, they trade a first-round pick. Well, the Patriots did trade a second-round pick. And I've listened to announcers for the last 3 years make the Julian Edelman Hall of Fame case. He's still there. They have a first-rounder at running back. They have a first-rounder at wide receiver. They traded a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu. I'm watching the great quarterbacks in the league. The guys, there's Russell Wilson with Tyler Lockett, with a rookie receiver they could have taken in New England, DK Metcalf, and with whoever the hell's at tight end for him these days, make it work.
Nick. Where's that list of all those quarterbacks
that you played for? I've got
for?
it right here.
Can you just rattle off a few, Coach? How many? Tell Coach.
Cutler, Fitzpatrick, Henne, Orton, Moore, McCown, Eli, Bryce Petty, Russell Wilson. That's a good one. Geno Smith, Patrick Ramsey, Jason Campbell, Tyler Thigpen. He threatened to sue me once. Jake Plummer, Chris Sims, J.P. Lossman, Jimmy Clausen. That's the list.
So listen. I'm almost an expert, Coach. I'm the quarterback whisperer. Okay. I am.
And a heavyweight boxer.
I am the quarterback whisperer.
I'm going to take both.
So listen, when I turn film on, I watch Tom Brady. This guy can still play. He's still throwing it 60 yards down the field. It's not about it. You know, his arm talent is not. You see how quick he is in a pocket? No one controls the pocket better. He is the fastest quarterback in the pocket, the quickest quarterback in the pocket. His decision making. Are we saying that mentally he's taking a step back?
No, mentally he's as sharp as ever.
It's about timing. That's all it's about. Like what Coach said, you have this guy, you know, that has only been in his third game. You trade for Sanu. He's getting acclimated to the system. It's timing. That's it. Tom Brady's good. Quarterback whisperer.
Speaking of timing, we got to take a break. Coach, stick around. Coming up, are the Cowboys